Early Break with Sip and Jake.
I'd never turn it off. I'd never turned it off. I would never turn it off. I go flat 9.
Ooh.
I like it. I just love the sound of it.
I'd turn it off. I'd walk to a different bar. I wouldn't.
Seriously?
It's horrible. It's horrible.
Bill, what is the why?
It's a 194.
Why?
This doesn't. No, it's
That's
just
the biggest
no.
despair we've ever had.
Yeah,
On a
it's a
song.
194. Nothing. There's that one good thing about that song.
Like-
I've never questioned you more in my life.
Early Break with Sip and Jake from 6 to 8 every weekday morning on 93.7 The Ticket.
1 in 3 adults has prediabetes. 1 in 3. That means it could be you, your football buddy, your football buddy, or you, your best man, your worst man, you, your dog walker, your cat. Adults has prediabetes. With early diagnosis, prediabetes can be reversed. Take the risk test at doihaveprediabetes.org. That's doihaveprediabetes.org.
Wait, did they just say 1 in 3 adults has prediabetes? That's 33.33333% of adults. That means it could be me, my boss, or my boss's boss, or me, my favorite sister, or my other sister. That's 7 members of my 21-person romantic book club. Wait, the 1 in 3 could be me, my karaoke partner Carol, or my karaoke enemy Jeff. I'm going to take the risk test at doihaveprediabetes.org.
Brought to you by the Ad Council and its Prediabetes Awareness Partners.
93.7 The Ticket is proud to provide listeners with daily opportunities to win contests and prizes on our airwaves, and would like to take this opportunity to remind you of a couple rules. All participants must be 21 or older and must wait 30 days after winning a prize before participating in another contest. Once you win, you have 30 days to pick up your prize at the K&TK Studios, 1040 O Street in Lincoln, or your prize will be forfeit. Thank you for participating in our contest, and thank you for listening to 93.7 The Ticket.
I get it, slip it, cuff it, check it twice a day.
I get it, slip it, cuff it, check it in the morning and before dinner.
I get it, slip it, cuff it, check it, and share it with my doctor. Nearly 1 in 2 U.S. adults have high blood pressure. That's why it's important to self-monitor your blood pressure in 4 easy-to-remember steps. It starts with a monitor.
Now that I know my blood pressure numbers, I talked with my doctor. We're getting those numbers down.
Get it, slip it, cuff it, check it. Talk to doctor now and share it.
Be next to talk to your doctor about your blood pressure numbers. Get down with your blood pressure. Self-monitoring is power. Learn more at manageyourbp.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council, the American Heart Association, and the American Medical Association, in partnership with the Office of Minority Health and Health Resources and Services Administration.
With the Planet Fitness Black Card, you don't just get a great workout, you get a great perk out because your membership is packed with perks. For $1 down and $24.99 a month, you'll get perks like access to any of our 2,400 clean and spacious locations. Bring a friend anytime and both work out with tons of equipment that'll give you that big fitness energy. Relax in the Black Card spa and more. Work out and perk out with the PF Black Card. Join for just $1 down and $24.99 a month.
Hurry, this deal ends soon.
See Home Club for details.
This is how we do every day. We be grinding, and if you wanna come and test us,
if you love them enough to turn off your music and pretend like their music is your music,
this is Mommy's jam.
then surely you'll check nhtsa.gov/the right seat to make sure they're in the right car seat.
Let's play it again.
Check today at nhtsa.gov/the right seat. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Victor deployed for the first time to Afghanistan in 2003. At 4 a.m, my phone rang. They said, "I regret to inform you that your husband was wounded in action." Victor sustained a moderate traumatic brain injury. I was doing school full-time, and I was also then caring for Victor. One of the most important elements of caregiving is taking care of yourself. I just didn't want to forget that I also had goals and that I also had a life. What I did is I challenged Victor to meet me halfway. There are almost 6 million military and veteran caregivers across the nation. We have our own journey, and we can fulfill that journey at the same time that we are helping our loved one.
Visit aarp.org/caregiving for a free military veterans guide to navigate your caregiving journey and better care for your loved one and yourself. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
Coming at you live from the heart of Lincoln, America. This is the Don't Punt Hour with former Nebraska receiver.
Throwing over the middle, completes the pass. He's got speed to the end zone. Touchdown! 45 yards.
And return specialist.
This time he beats the kicker and one more.
DeMornay Pierson-El.
Not only does the sideline have confidence in Pierson-El, but Pierson-El has confidence in Pierson-El.
On 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
All right, welcome in to the Dump Punt Hour. Harrison runs on the ones and twos. As always, we got the host, the former Husker wide receiver, special teams threat, DeMornay Pierson-El. If you guys want to join in, we got the Royals on the airwaves. So use the streams, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, X, 961. As always, we'll get the show rolling here. We do got some more audio from that rule today. Really just an interesting day for Nebraska media. As DeMornay Pierson-El, I'll get your thoughts on it right off the bat. What'd you think about the Oregon Duck showing up on campus today for Matt Rhule's press conference?
Before we even get to that whole timeout, how you feel about the Bears?
What do you mean about the Bears? About DJ Moore's contract?
Yes.
What was it? 110 million, 4 years?
Yes. How do you feel about that?
What was Smith's, right? 75 for 3 for the Eagles. So we
I believe so. So yes.
So yeah, we just that's that's stacking it up even higher on that wide receiver market. Do what you need to keep DJ Moore happy, because if you have any hope in this thing working, you got to pay that man. Makes me nervous a little bit, but I feel like he's probably the right guy to give the money to. I mean, DJ Moore, for everything he was doing with the Panthers.
Why do you feel nervous? What's nervous about it?
Just a lot of money to give out. I'm okay with it, but I'm saying just a lot of money to give out. I have to double down on it. It did happen while I was working here. So, I mean, how much do you know? How much is guaranteed on this contract? 82
is guaranteed. Okay. They didn't break down what it is yearly just yet. 4 years, 110, 82.6 guaranteed. They didn't break down on exactly what it is, but I'm pretty sure it's probably the 26, 28 million range per year, probably, maybe.
Okay, that's not too bad then. In my head, I was thinking a lot worse. No, I mean, that's fine. I mean, with the wide receiver market too, the way we see that thing growing, yes, it's higher, but I would say he's an elite receiver that deserves that money. And again, with these details, especially the NFL, we got to wait a little bit longer. Some of these contracts seem crazy right up front. But as more paperwork comes out, you kind of see the details behind it. What are your thoughts on it? Hear that? I think that's the right move to make if you got DJ Moore.
I would say he's in the same group of guys as AJ Brown, Terry McLaurin, DK. I'm not saying he's not a number one, but I'm not saying he's a number 2 receiver either. He's shown that he can be your number 1 target. Is he a Tyreek Hill, a Justin Jefferson, or Devontae? Not quite, but what I think what they gave him was fair. I mean, he earned that. He was a bright spot in y'all's offense. I mean, Keenan has had injuries. Keenan is getting older, so I mean, you got a young guy, you got a young quarterback. You got them, situated at least for the duration of Williams' rookie career. I mean, it's good to have, that at least consistent. At least you'll know he'll be there. So good for them.
Yeah, that is a good point too, because we've seen this with young rookie QBs in the past, even sophomore year QBs. If you don't give them a good wide receiver, they don't develop too well typically.
We might be talking about Josh Allen differently if he didn't have Stephon Diggs.
Yeah, seriously.
We would be talking differently if Tua might not get paid if you don't have Tariq. Like they were talking about, shipping Tua off. So I mean, the fact that they get that settled early, I think they're building for the future for more so stuff for Caleb. So that's real good.
Yeah, especially to part with Tyreek Hill. I mean, Waddle with his back problem injuries last year. I mean,
he was coming into the league on I don't want to say a bum ankle, but I mean he was hurt. It'll take you with I think with a significant leg injury, it'll probably take you closer to a year and a half to 2 years for you to feel a lot more comfortable.
Yeah, absolutely. So some more good news for the Bears. It's gonna be exciting. We got Hard Knocks coming up as well for the Chicago Bears, so we'll get a deep dive to see what that actually looks like. But I try not to drink too much Kool-Aid. Maybe that's the reason for my nervousness. I got a lot on the line this year. All right. I haven't seen my Bulls be successful, Bears be successful. Hate to say it, Husker football since the Pelini era be successful. So
we had one good year with Mike. We had one good year with Mike.
I don't want to say
one good year.
I don't want to say.
I said
I could sense it was fool's gold a little bit. I'll say that much.
Oh, that was a stacked team. We had a stacked team.
Exactly. The team. Not everything else behind it. I thought the players were the reason. And I thought once those guys were gone.
The dudes, I mean, the second year was better than the first year. So I mean it was what it was. We're not gonna get on that.
Yeah, okay. Fair enough. Fair enough.
That team's Oregon Duck. They're a little too comfortable, ain't they?
Yeah, and I was just surprised. Pulling up to Matt Rule's press conference, he did get kicked out. He didn't have credentials. We took care of business. Security made sure that he wasn't fully able to participate. But showed up to campus. He did get to go on Memorial Stadium. Nebraska puts out a thing, no ruffled feathers. Great pun. But interesting. Oregon Duck making the Big Ten tour. Nebraska being the first stop. Obviously, they're not going to go to UCLA. They're not going to go to USC. They're not going to go to the former Pac-12 schools. They'll keep going on these Big Ten stops.
But they've been here before. The Oregon came here in 2015, 16?
I think it was 15. Might have been 16. I'm not entirely sure.
Yeah, I think it was 16. So, I mean, it's not like they're unfamiliar or anything like that. So, I mean, I guess, like I said, was he around the facility?
Yeah, he was on the field. He was on Memorial Stadium. I mean, he made it all the way into the press conference before he got kicked out. I mean, he wasn't making a scene. He left. It's not like he came in there and started kicking tables over, stomping on the end.
I mean, I guess it's a publicity thing. I mean, like I said, you don't see that too often. I don't think you'll see Texas or Oklahoma's. I mean, I don't even know what Oklahoma's mascot actually is. Probably the live actual carriage, but I'm pretty sure you won't see them going around. So I mean, I guess they're making things fun. I guess, but I mean, I'm not too much of a fan of it.
That's marketing. It's definitely just marketing. Maybe they want to see what a real blue blood looks like too. Get a sniff of that entering the Big Ten here. Andy Staples said they're a contender, so maybe they're feeling pretty damn good about themselves, thinking, "Hey, we're right there with Nebraska as a contender. Let's go see what's going on."
Until you have a full Big Ten schedule like Rutgers did when they first came into the Big Ten, like we did when we first came into the Big Ten, I don't want to hear it.
Yeah. Well, and also with this Oregon Duck, it's an Oregon Duck tour. I mean, Nebraska's not going to be the only stop. You think about it geographically, adds up, right? Who's the closest school in this Big Ten that they're joining? Nebraska. Next stop will probably be Iowa. Then they'll go
I would honestly, I would say their mascot is probably one of the more entertaining mascots in college football. Like it's always something, with them. He's always going to do something, whether it's riding on a motorcycle, the push-up thing. And I know each, mascot or each place has their different things, but I would say he's probably one of the most active, funny, or you never know what to expect with him. So I guess you can say that's kind of more of his characteristics. Yeah. So, I mean, it is what it is.
Yeah, no, I do want to talk about Matt Rule, but now you're bringing me to an interesting point. What are the best mascots in college football? And if you're playing college football 25, you have a much better idea. I mean, it gives you all the traditions there. If you had to pick the best mascots of college football, or we could Mount Rushmore if you don't got them in order either.
Ooh, that will be hard. I mean, of course, we're up there. I mean, you can't either one of them, Lil Red or Herbie. I feel like those are iconic, regardless of if you see that, people know exactly what it is.
Which one's better though? I got to ask you that: Lil Red or Herbie the Husker?
I would say Herbie, just because you only see Little Red at pretty much home games.
Yeah, you see him more at the basketball scene. Lil Red's more of a hooper, apparently.
Yeah, you can throw Brutus in there as much as I don't want to, but I mean, it's like you can't not have him, in there. You can throw. I don't even know what the Oregon Duck name is. I don't even know if he has a name.
The Duck.
Yeah,
I'm not sure actually.
You could throw him in there. I think he's definitely an iconic.
Do you like the Texas Longhorn? I can't remember the name of that one either. Got a little controversy. I almost attacked the Georgia Bulldog that one year. Went after the Bulldog.
Are you talking about like live, or are you talking about like the actual like mascots? I'm talking about like actual like mascot. If you're
that's a mascot, but that's more of a tradition than it is.
If you want to go that, then I'll say LSU with the Tiger. That's a Tiger living on campus. Like that's
Mike the Tiger. Yeah, Mike the Tiger, I believe was
that's a little bit different. So it just depends. Like, are you meaning like actual animal like, or are you like the actual mascot that you see on the sideline? I was thinking of the sideline guy.
Well, we'll keep it for simplicity's sake, the actual mascot. Now, the Georgia Bulldog counts because it technically is. They don't have another mascot running around. It's just Bulldog. But yeah, with Texas Longhorns.
You sure they don't have a big a big bulldog with a head with some shoulder pads and a jersey on? You sure?
Is he out there? I thought that was
replaced. I want to say, I think.
Okay. We'll have to research that. So don't even count him then. We're talking purely mascots. Give me the TCU Horned Frog, just because it's gone through some crazy variations. I think that one always sticks out.
Their uniforms and everything like that is crazy. So like I'm cool with that one. I'm trying to think who else.
And I figured out the duck is Sebastian. Not the name I'd expect, but Sebastian.
Yeah, that's okay. A little bit different. Alabama's elephant, but they don't really do anything. He just moves his trunk around, so I won't really say that. Florida State Seminole, actually, them riding out on a horse, that's unique. You can put that along the side with Mike. Trying to think.
The official Georgia mascot is the dog, the English Bulldog.
Yes, I know that.
So if we're going by the official mascot, I don't know if the actual person in the costume
is an official. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. You can throw out Notre Dame with the little Irishman.
You gotta throw out Big Red. I forgot about that. Western Kentucky Big Red. Just the monstrosity of a mascot truly puts the fear in people. I think he belongs. I don't know what he is, but he's entertaining as hell.
That'll probably off of what I can actually think of a true mascot. I'm trying to think who else.
Syracuse, we got the orange. I don't know, that's not super exciting. More historical.
Miami, they got I don't know if it's a pelican or exactly what it is. It's a bird.
Yeah.
It's
a bird.
It's a bird. I think it's a bird. Maybe, I don't know. Like I said, the ones you can think of. I know Penn State, or was it BYU? That was the BYU's mascot that was dancing with the cheerleaders one year. He kind of for a minute. So you can say him. There's a few that come to mind, but I think necessarily when you think of mascots, I think automatically that jumps out. It's probably Ohio State, Oregon's. You can go TCU, and I'll go of Nebraska. Just that alone, period.
And I think Herbie the Husker is actually one of the more renowned mascots. I think it belongs because they haven't really gone away from it. We changed it a little bit with the blonde hair, blue eyes. Not sure what that one was about. Not a fan of it, but it still looks close enough to the. I still think they should revert to what they had back then. I don't know what this maneuver was. Looks more creepy than anything. Speaking of that, one more I'll throw up there. Purdue, and they just got a creepy mascot. I don't know what it is, but they have had probably one of the creepier mascots in the Big Ten.
I heard at Purdue, so I hate Purdue completely. I hate the mascot. I hate the train. I hate the field. I hate the colors. Like, I hate it all. I'm not a fan of Purdue at all.
Fair enough. Who's got the worst mascot in the Big Ten? If we're thinking about this,
what is Northwestern's mascot? Like, I know they're wild, like they're the Wildcats, but like I don't think I've ever seen anything associated. What is Illinois? Like, what exactly is that? Like, is that a person? Is it like
Yeah, I mean those are mascots are kind of weak. Now that I'm thinking about it,
Indiana, like again, what is your mascot per se? Like, what does it actually look like? I don't know.
Oh, Sparty, I'll throw Sparty up there. He's a great mascot.
You can, yeah, Sparty's nice too. I'll give you Sparty. I forgot.
Iowa sucks. Herky the Hawk. You got Goldie Gopher. Minnesota's is okay. Yeah, some of these are interesting. Nittany Lion, I think he won.
Wisconsin, as much as I hate Wisconsin, the Badger of Wisconsin, that's a real good one too as well.
Yeah, and you're right. It's Wiley the Wildcat.
Never seen him. Never seen him. Never seen him. Couldn't tell you what he has on. Couldn't tell you if he got a light head, a dark head, if he got stripes, polka dots. Couldn't tell you. Don't know.
Yeah, you probably got to bump that GPA up. He's probably failing some classes down there. They're strict about that up in Northwestern. Rutgers Scarlet Knight. It's kind of okay. Sparty definitely wins that one.
It's a knight. I mean, it's a red knight in a suit. I've seen that. Yeah. I mean, it's a knight though. I mean, that's fine. That's all right. Maryland the Terrapins. I've seen the turtle. That's fine. That's okay. That's not terrible. Like I said, but what is a Hoosier? What exactly is that mascot? Like,
I'm looking at a picture of it, and I can. You'll have to look it up on your own.
I think those schools probably is up there with some of the worst. Like I said, I've never seen. I don't think any one of those schools mascot. Like the Purdue, you see the train, you see the little guy with the hammer.
Yeah.
Yeah, I couldn't tell you what Illinois is. Like I don't know.
Oh, Indiana does not have a mascot. There you go. Interesting. How have I not known that?
Oh, they're the worst, them, because they don't have one.
Yeah, they don't even have one.
Yeah, exactly. They're the worst.
That's an interesting executive decision. I wonder if there's history behind that. There used to be a bulldog named Ox that served as the football team's mascot from 59 to 65. They had a bison at one point in the 60s, and then introduced a mascot, Hoosier Pride, in 1979. And at some point, Hoosier Pride died because he hasn't been here in a while. School does not have an official mascot.
Them and, like I said, Illinois. I don't know what exactly type of animal, person, shape, figure could be their mascot. I don't know.
Man, okay. Apparently, not where I want to go with this, but we'll have to do some history. This is an interesting read. Mr. Hoosier's Pride. If you guys are familiar, 402-464-5685. So Mr. Hoosier Pride, a red-bearded cowboy who was introduced in 1979, but was quickly abandoned after one season due to fan backlash. I don't know what Mr. Hoosier Pride did, but he received some fan backlash. Could have been just a weird-looking mascot. I don't know the official story of it, but if you're familiar, feel free to chime in. Go ahead.
Sounds like a copy and paste of a few things, but, we're not going to go into that.
That's what I was thinking too. All right, moving on here. We do got some quotes from Matt Rule, but since we're already kind of up against the clock on this first segment, let's just talk about fall camp. What is that like? I mean, at this point in the season, especially now, it's 100 degrees out. You couldn't have picked a better week to start. What is the mindset of these guys, freshman to senior, just kind of a broad brush? What is the move got to be?
Freshman is an experience. It's what you've seen, what you've been through. It's not anything that you kind of seen. It's a different level. It's a different level. Intensity's up. So you're trying to understand, where to fit in, how things go and whatnot, and try not to mess up or get yelled at. But you're still trying to contribute and kind of just enjoying. If you got here from spring ball, it's a little bit different, but you coming in, school's been starting, all anybody's ever been talking about is, wait till we get to camp. You got 7-on-7s, you working out with a team. Like now, this is finally getting back to, real football. So it's kind of, the wait is over. You're actually a college athlete and you kind of get to show what you can do. For our older classmen, it's a love-hate thing. Like you hate it because it's like, it's a grind. There's no school. You're all day, every day. Everything that you need to do is scripted. Meals are scripted. Meetings are scripted. You really don't get no free time. So it's kind of like you got to lock back in and check back in. But again, it's another chance for you to prove what you want to do for that upcoming year. But I mean, it's tough. It's brutal. It's not easy at all. And then you hit about week 3 and things kind of slow up and change a little bit. So, I mean, it's definitely to get your mind right for the season.
How tested are you? Say you're a player who didn't take conditioning to a serious level. I mean, did you see that at your time at all? Obviously, I don't want names or anything, but I mean, how brutal is it? Like, can you tell if guys showed up to fall camp not ready?
Yeah, easily. I mean, because you got some walk-on guys that come to fall camp and everything like that. You got some guys that wasn't necessarily taking it as serious as other guys. And you see it within the first couple of days, or you see it when pads come on. Pads come on day 3, day 4, legs are kind of shot. You kind of irritated, you fussy. People are throwing up left and right. Soft tissue injuries start. But you'll see it. People will be winded. People start arguing and fighting and whatnot. So I mean, you'll know. And the guys there, the strength coaches, they know, who really was taking things seriously, who really wasn't taking things seriously. So, I mean, it won't be hard to point it out and whatnot. You'll get called out, you'll get extra punishment or whatever, or you'll lose reps and you won't get the opportunity of what you need, or you lose your position battle.
Yeah, and that's especially with one thing about Rule, and he kind of even spoke about, if we have time, we'll listen to the audio quote later, talking about walk-ons. I mean, like, yeah, if you're not ready for it, said some of these walk-ons, they'll put some plays together, and he's like, I'm just going to play who deserves to be playing more. Like, if you make plays, guess what? You deserve it. I don't care if I recruited you, if you're a walk-on, if you showed up and you're the last guy I thought we're going to make this roster. If you show up and take advantage of some other guys not being ready, Matt Rule's kind of proven he's willing to play you early if you can prove that you're worth his time. Can actually go out there and make some plays and just be a winning player. I mean, that's where this program needs to be. We need to be winning at this point, especially with all the momentum behind us. With that being said, we're going to go ahead and throw it to our first break here. We're going to keep talking Husker football here with the former Husker himself, DeMornay Pierson-El. Like I said, we'll have some Rule quotes as well. So don't go anywhere. We'll keep it rolling here on Take a Weeknights. Don't Punt Hour. Talk to you in just a little bit.
Football season is nearly here, and your long wait for year 2 of Matt Rule is almost over. Gear up for the season with 93.7 The Ticket's coverage of Big Ten Media Days from July 23rd to the 25th, live from Lucas Oil Stadium in Indianapolis. Jay Foreman, Amon Green, Adam Carricker, Chancellor Brewington, Derek Pearson, Steve Sipple, Jake Sorensen, and Nick Sainer will be in Indy for our shows Tuesday through Thursday. Getting the latest news from Nebraska and everyone else around the conference. Coverage of Big Ten Media Days is brought to you by 1890 Nebraska, Stevens and Smith Construction, The Complex, Warhorse Casino, and Riddles Jewelry.
Mario fue pintor más de 30 años. Cuando me dijo que se le estaban olvidando las cosas, fue difícil. Un día me dijeron que pintara el marco del lado por dentro y pinté el lado de afuera.
Yo le diría a la gente que le diga a su familia lo que está pasando con él.
Si algo se nota diferente, podría ser Alzheimer. Es momento de hablarlo. Visita alz.org/nuestras historias para saber más. Un mensaje de the Alzheimer's Association y the Ad Council.
The Nebraska legislature will soon meet in special session and may consider a vote to raise consumer prices by imposing a sales tax on advertising. Nebraska's small businesses would be hit hardest, forcing them to raise prices, meaning we'd all pay more for the things we need. Contact your state senator and tell them no ad tax. Visit noadtaxnebraska.com to find your senator's contact information. That's noadtaxnebraska.com. A message from the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
Whether you like fishing together or fishing to get away, for the thrill of reeling in a big one, or just going out to have a good time, on the banks of your local pond, at a bend in a river, or on one of our many lakes and reservoirs, you'll always find the perfect place to cast a line. Here, beneath Nebraska skies. Start planning your next fishing adventure today at letsfishnebraska.com. Sponsored by Nebraska Game and Parks, aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
Your child was embarrassed when you arrived at their basketball game. 75% of parents or guardians report current alcohol use. Drinking alcohol can cause harm to children and loved ones. By drinking less, your child will be excited to see you at their basketball game. If you or a loved one is looking for help, find a treatment facility near you at findtreatment.gov. For immediate support, call, text, or chat 988.
Brought to you by Nebraska DHHS in partnership with SAMHSA.
Victor deployed for the first time to Afghanistan in 2003. At 4 in the morning, my phone rang. They said, "I regret to inform you that your husband was wounded in action." Victor sustained a moderate traumatic brain injury. I was doing school full-time, and I was also then caring for Victor. One of the most important elements of caregiving is taking care of yourself. I just didn't want to forget that I also had goals and that I also had a life. What I did is I challenged Victor to meet me halfway. There are almost 6 million military and veteran caregivers across the nation. We have our own journey, and we can fulfill that journey at the same time that we are helping our loved one.
Visit aarp.org/caregiving for a free military veterans guide to navigate your caregiving journey and better care for your loved one and yourself. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
Are you a veteran looking for a new companion animal? A dog, a cat, or maybe something else? The Nebraska Department of Veterans Affairs Vets Get Pets program can cover up to $350 of your pet adoption fees. Visit veterans.nebraska.gov/vetsgetpets to learn more about program requirements and how to apply. Want to help support the program? Get your Vets Get Pets specialty license plates from the Nebraska DMV. Sponsored by the Nebraska Department of Veterans Affairs. Aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
This is area race announcer James Rowland. Join me and Bree Fansteel every Sunday night from 7 to 8 on 93.7 The Ticket for The Finish Line, where we cover all things motorsports from local racing to racing around the world. Every Sunday night from 7 to 8 on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Football season is nearly here, and your long wait for year 2 of Matt Rule is almost over. Gear up for the season with 93.7 The Ticket's coverage of Big Ten Media Days from July 23rd to the 25th, live from Lucas Oil Stadium in Indianapolis. Jay Foreman, Amon Green, Adam Carricker, Chancellor Brewington, Derek Pearson, Steve Sipple, Jake Sorensen, and Nick Sainer will be in Indy for our shows Tuesday through Thursday. Getting the latest news from Nebraska and everyone else around the conference. Coverage of Big Ten Media Days is brought to you by 1890 Nebraska, Stevens and Smith Construction, The Complex, Warhorse Casino, and Riddles Jewelry. This is the Don't Punt Hour on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Here is your host, Demorne Pierson-El.
All right, welcome back into the Don't Punt Hour. Once again, Harrison Arns on the ones and twos. As always, come take weeknights. We're going to continue this thing talking some college football, in particular Nebraska football. So like I said before, we got some more audio from Matt Rule. We're getting to that point of the season where coach speak is kind of about all we can live on. So we will have I guess we will have an open practice that people will be able to attend, get a sneak peek themselves. But for the meantime, we do got some audio. Where I want to start off with this one is the kickers, because we did get some interesting news there. Hopefully stuff that doesn't stress us out too much. But here's Matt Rule on the current kicking situation at Nebraska.
Who will be your kicker, I guess? With him out, who do you
Hull. Yeah. No, I'm sorry. Between Hull, we have Otto in camp, so we have Nico in camp, we have Hull in camp. Alvaro, once he's healthy, he'll battle for that job. So I think the thing that we realized, or Ed did a great job of, is the way the season's going to go. A lot of games are going to come down to the kicking game, right? So with Tristan, we know what we have in Tristan. So better not to rush it. Get him healthy. Don't push it. Nico was a high priority player for us in the recruiting process, and then Holes. Obviously, we had a chance to coach his older brother, Jacob, who's a fantastic young man, and John has a ton of talent. Big leg. Again, taking care of the summer camp opportunities. We were able to have him come in. So he was a scholarship player at another place, and we got him. So they'll all compete for it, and we'll see what happens.
So that makes me nervous, just because field goals haven't been great. Alvano's hurt. So with that being said, do you feel confident that the guys we have in reserve, we don't really go out and get anyone kind of feeling that Alvano's going to be the guy? Now we do have some recruits. You mentioned Nico, currently the backup. Projected to be the backup. Nervous at all, though, that without Alvano, I know he didn't have a great start that people were hoping for, but I do think he could have had a much better season. I think the amount of pressure that was put on him, especially when you're not able to get 6 points, like hardly ever at all, and you really got to settle for threes over and over. First year, I think next year would have been a lot better for him. But now we're sitting here looking at the backup already before the season starts. How do you feel about the current kicking situation at Nebraska?
With him just talking and, when he said they went and got a scholarship guy from somewhere else, clearly, they have an idea of what things are going to be, but you never know until, you have a kicking competition literally every day. That's something that'll be watched. They'll change it different directions, different fields in the stadium. So I mean, you'll probably know I would say at the latest maybe the last week if it's close going into it. But kicking they're evaluated with their warm-ups. So I'm not too afraid or nervous of it because at the end of the day, you did bring in guys on scholarships. Y'all are good at what y'all supposed to be doing and whatnot. Now we're just going out, proving it and getting them comfortable with stuff and whatnot. So as you can see, that is something that was on their mind this offseason. They addressed it. So I don't think he let in fully what his thoughts are. He kind of just kept it simple, but I think there's a competition definitely between the Nico guy and the guy that they said that was at somebody else's university and came in. So we'll see. And literally every day, either the beginning of the period or at the end of the period, you'll see guys kicking 10 yards apart, left hash, right hash. So you kind of got a feel of like, okay, what's their threshold of like maybe we don't know, or maybe they might have this, or what they're comfortable. So I'm not too concerned because you have guys there that you like. So it's just a matter of figuring out which one you like better.
Yeah, and to put my skepticism in there is like I imagine he's going to go out there and say I'm confident in anybody of my backups. Because if you say anything else, wow, what a hell of a start to the guy you're throwing into that situation. On your head coach does not have a lot of confidence in you. So I am a little nervous, not because I was certain that Alvano was going to be the guy. He was my favorite, but just depth in that room, especially now. I'm familiar with Nico, the freshman, the other guy. Not entirely sure of his game, what he looks like. So maybe it is wait and see where he can relieve some nerves. But certainly having another freshman come in there, we saw the amount of pressure that was on Alvano, despite being more than excellent, despite kicking multiple field goals in the state game at Memorial Stadium, didn't translate at the college football level. Maybe it's just the pressure of being a freshman, especially on an offense that's struggling. We'll have to wait and see. But that definitely makes me a little bit nervous on the kicking situation, especially when you're playing Big Ten ball. We've seen those field goals just crush us. Kickers
and quarterbacks are a little bit weird mentally. They kind of you can throw long snappers in there, but they got to be a little different. And it's either you got it or you kind of don't. And hopefully, the confidence, was there. I mean, I played with Drew Brown. Drew was excellent. No matter where it was at, no matter how far it is, just put Drew out there. We're good. And I remember, times Bo will come out there, just spot the ball. It doesn't matter. We getting 3 regardless, at least if we're on offense. So hopefully we can get back to, that type of confidence within the kicking game.
Yeah, it's such a bizarre. I mean, it's not even like they have it. How long do they have it? Like sometimes they have it all season long. Sometimes they have for 10. Sometimes it's a season 11 where they lose their touch. It is the most bizarre sport.
Yeah, they're they're wired a little different. I mean, just about every time you go out there, it can be, a pressure situation. You miss a kick, it might cost us the game. Literally. So I mean, they carry a lot. So I mean, for them finding a consistent kicker and building a confidence in that, I think that's definitely a necessity. And I mean, he's starting early with saying, he likes all the guys and is confident in all the guys. So now it's just, who can stack, the better days and run out there and be guy number 1.
Yeah, we'll have to wait and see. Just need somebody mentally strong. It almost feels like you need to recruit guys off the golf course. to be a kicker. Like you just need this.
No, like it's not an easy thing. Like it is not
obviously, I'm not going to go out to the golf
an
course.
easy thing at all. Like
I'm saying mentally.
that is, man. Look, you gotta have a right person. It is. I don't want no parts of that at all. That's a lot. I'll stick to what I do. They can handle whatever they need to handle.
Yeah, and before you call me crazy, I'm not saying Matt Rule, go out to the golf course, see if you can find a guy. I'm saying that's the mental.
I feel like the last couple of years, anybody soccer scholarship, they was just giving it out left and right. It was that it was such a problem. So I mean, I get it, but like I said, hopefully, better days ahead.
Yeah, hopefully. I mean, there was times last year. Now, given message boards aren't going to give you the right information, but when the message boards are asking around, anybody got a kid at the university that can kick, things are going south. So let's just hope. Hopefully, again, for Alvano, hopefully he can get healthy. I do think he would have a much better sophomore year. I think the pressure probably got to him. We talked about it. That mentality you have to have is so unique and brutal at that position because you're not doing a lot. Some games you're not doing.
And then, you got that, and then how Nebraska fans are. They're with you when they're with you, but if you piss them off, they trash you. And especially with him being like that, and so many opportunities it might go good, it might not go good. Then he's already in his head and mad and irritated. The team is mad and irritated. Then you get on the internet and people just blasting you left and right. Like it's like he was catching it on all sides.
At least he had some scapegoats with him. We can just put the whole thing on him. But that's enough about Alvano. Hopefully he gets healthy. Hopefully the backups succeed because that is certainly going to be interesting, much needed in the Big Ten. I don't care what you say. You need good kickers. Too many games come down to just a couple or a single field goal kick. We got one more quote I want to get to before break. This one's interesting. Heard Austin Orman on the block. Had a really good take on this, but I'll let you hear it first, and then we'll break it down. Here's the rule. Again, heading into fall camp now, officially in fall camp, getting players ready to play.
I think anytime you play any young player, you want to go at their pace. Unfortunately, if you want to play quarterback as a freshman, the schedule is the schedule. The standard is the standard. 8:31 comes around pretty quickly, and you better be ready. So, I think a lot of that, again, we're going to have to see where he is. We're going to see where everyone is on the team based upon the work they put in the summer. But our job is not to get anybody ready to play. Our job is to give them opportunities. They have to get themselves ready to play. Like if it means you stay up for 2 extra hours at night and study more film, if it means it takes what it takes.
All right, there's a little bit more to it, but the point I want to talk to, and again, shout out Austin for pointing this out. It's unique. I'll play it one more time about what his job is about getting players ready to play.
Our job is not to get anybody ready to play. Our job is to give them opportunities. They have to get themselves ready to play. Like if it.
Okay, that part right there. Your thoughts on that? Their job is not getting players ready to play.
I really don't. I don't agree with that. With what he said in the past and his philosophy with development and everything like that. I don't agree with that. Yes, it's on them to continue, and he may have said it differently or meant something else by it. Yes, can the players do extra amount of things and put in extra work to make sure that they're ready and prepared? Yes, but as a college coach, as a coach that went into these families' homes and said, we're going to take care of your kid. Like, yes, it is your job as well as them to make sure that they are prepared. Now, if they're not prepared and everything like that, what are you going to do? Move to the next person. So at any given point, you're going to give them enough time to see if they catch up, to see if it sinks in, to see if it's starting to get familiar to where now they're not thinking as much and they're just playing. But it's also on the coaches. It's also on the position coaches to make sure that, whoever that they send out there is ready for the job. It's just not. It's not the NFL. Be different, and that's more so of, I felt like, NFL talking. Because that's where you would see stuff like it's not my job to necessarily get you ready. At the next level, that is your job. So you should, if we give you this, you don't have nothing else the rest of the day. By the time you come back tomorrow, you should have it down and dandy. But It is up to them to schedule things right. It is up to them to understand that, the quarterbacks are on the same level. They understand the verbiage. They understand the protections and everything like that. Because if you're not making sure that they're ready, then pretty soon you're going to be out of here. So I don't really agree with what he said. I think he could have said it differently. I think athletes do have more responsibility to make sure that they are obtaining what they're supposed to and coming back ready the next day and whatnot. But it absolutely is part of the coaches to make sure that they are getting what they need. And if the kid does have questions, or if you sense the kid is a little nervous or not wanting to come and say something, you see it, okay, you initiate that and kind of figure out and settle them down or bring them back down or whatnot. It's a partnership. It's a bond. It's two sides coming together to do the same thing. So why would you just put it all on them? I don't get that. I don't agree with that.
Yeah, I don't either at all. And this is the part where, again, if you're Matt Rule, I wonder if it's a little bit of his NFL lingo coming into those press conferences. I'm like really hard to believe that's fully what he meant, because it's a bar. I mean, your job is to certainly get him to ready to play. I'd imagine you don't recruit a high schooler in his freshman season. I'm going to give you an opportunity, but I'm not going to give you ready. That kid's going to get killed. That makes zero sense at all. Obviously, you're going to get them ready. You're going to develop them. That's why you succeeded so much better in college. You're great at development. At least that's my thought process. The other part of this, you want to give Matt Rule long answers. Sometimes you talk a lot. You get some words in there that you don't fully mean. That could be the other part of it as well, or he truly means it. I mean, there's a few ways to look at it.
I wouldn't think so. Like I said, I think necessarily he probably wanted to say something different, and that kind of just came out. So I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. Speaking from experience, from a player that played as a true freshman and whatnot, my coaches were always on me. Hey, do you understand? After every little period, after every little play, you got it. Like, hey, remember this? I got it. Like, I'm good. Hey, remember you switching I got it. I'm good. Like, no. Like, you sure? Hey, it's at 8 yards, not 10. It's this and this and that. Like, they made sure that I had the ability and I had the confidence to go out there to where I wasn't thinking. Now, once if I'm not thinking, that's when the play started and whatnot. So you had position coaches checking in. You had, the assistants, hey, checking in. Hey, remember you got this and this on that or whatnot. You had Coach Brown, who was our returners coaches. Hey, make sure, you squeeze your elbows and everything like that. He giving you tips and everything like that and talking to you about certain things and whatnot. So what he's preached, that's not necessarily what he just said. So like I said, I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. He meant something else by what he said.
I'm there with you. Obviously, I'll never know, but I'm willing to throw some cold water on it too. Just exactly what he said. Based on everything he said in the past, and especially what his philosophy's been the entire time, I think it's just a little bit of a slip of the tongue there. And again, I think you talk enough, especially Matt Rule. He likes giving you good answers. I mean, he does. We've seen coaches in the past. I don't think there's necessarily a right or wrong way, but we've seen coaches give it quick, short, simple. I'm out. I'm not going to give you too much to write about because I've seen, media can take narratives a lot of different directions. You talk enough, sometimes you'll slip up a little bit. Wasn't as bad as, the introductory press conference of Foster, but I think that one was just a simple mistake there. But that being said, we're going to go ahead, throw it to our last break here on the Dome Punt Hour. We'll wrap things up there with defensive players' attitude, talk a little bit about Tony White's defense with some more Matt Rule comments. So don't go anywhere. One more segment on the Dome Punt Hour.
When you were a kid, clubs were cool. Robotics club and space club and stuff like that. But what do adults get? Book clubs and quilting clubs? Nah, forget that. How about margarita clubs and old-fashioned clubs? Get to Upside Bar and Lounge for the best clubs in town. Try all 10 varieties of Upside margaritas or old fashions and take home a free souvenir glass. Grab the whole crew and pair it with taco night on Mondays or whiskey Wednesdays. Upside Bar and Lounge at 29th and Pine Lake.
Early break with Sip and Jake.
I'd never turn it off. I'd never turned it off. I would never turn it off. I go flat 9.
Ooh.
I like it. I just love the sound of it.
I'd turn it off. I'd walk to a different bar. I wouldn't.
Seriously?
Oh, it's horrible. It's horrible.
Bill, what is the why?
It's a 194.
Why?
This doesn't. No, it's
That's
just
the biggest
no.
despair we've ever had.
Yeah,
on a
it's a
song.
194. Nothing. There's that one good thing about that song. I've never questioned you more in my life.
Early break with Sip and Jake from 6 to 8 every weekday morning on 93.7 The Ticket.
1 in 3 adults has prediabetes. 1 in 3. That means it could be you, your football buddy, your football buddy, Or you, your best man. Your worst man. You, your dog walker. Your cat jogger. While 1 in 3 adults has prediabetes, with early diagnosis, prediabetes can be reversed. Take the risk test at doihaveprediabetes.org. That's doihaveprediabetes.org.
Wait, did they just say 1 in 3 adults has prediabetes? That's 33.33333% of adults. That means it could be me, my boss, or my boss's boss, or me, my favorite sister, or my other sister. That's 7 members of my 21-person romantic book club. Wait, the 1 in 3 could be me, my karaoke partner Carol, or my karaoke enemy Jeff. I'm going to take the risk test at doihaveprediabetes.org.
Brought to you by the Ad Council and its Prediabetes Awareness Partners.
93.7 The Ticket is proud to provide listeners with daily opportunities to win contests and prizes on our airwaves, and would like to take this opportunity to remind you of a couple rules. All participants must be 21 or older and must wait 30 days after winning a prize before participating in another contest. Once you win, you have 30 days to pick up your prize at the K&TK Studios, 1040 O Street in Lincoln, or your prize will be forfeit. Thank you for participating in our contest, and thank you for listening to 93.7 The Ticket.
I get it, slip it, cuff it, check it twice a day.
I get it, slip it, cuff it, check it in the morning and before dinner.
I get it, slip it, cuff it, check it, and share it with my doctor. Nearly 1 in 2 U.S. adults have high blood pressure. That's why it's important to self-monitor your blood pressure in 4 easy-to-remember steps. It starts with a monitor.
Now that I know my blood pressure numbers, I talked with my doctor. We're getting those numbers down.
Get it, slip it, cuff it, check it. Talk to doctor now and share it.
Be next to talk to your doctor about your blood pressure numbers. Get down with your blood pressure. Self-monitoring is power. Learn more at manageyourbp.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council, the American Heart Association, and the American Medical Association, in partnership with the Office of Minority Health and Health Resources and Services Administration.
With the Planet Fitness Black Card, you don't just get a great workout, you get a great perk out because your membership is packed with perks. For $1 down and $24.99 a month, you'll get perks like access to any of our 2,400 clean and spacious locations. Bring a friend anytime and both work out with tons of equipment that'll give you that big fitness energy. Relax in the Black Card spa and more. Work out and perk out with the PF Black Card. Join for just $1 down and $24.99 a month.
Hurry, this deal ends soon.
See Home Club for details.
This is how we do every day. We be grinding, and if you wanna come and text us,
If you love them enough to turn off your music and pretend like their music is your music,
This is Mommy's jam.
then surely you'll check nhtsa.gov/the right seat to make sure they're in the right car seat.
Let's play it again.
Check today at nhtsa.gov/the right seat. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Victor deployed for the first time to Afghanistan in 2003. At 4 a.m, my phone rang. They said, "I regret to inform you that your husband was wounded in action." Victor sustained a moderate traumatic brain injury. I was doing school full-time, and I was also then caring for Victor. One of the most important elements of caregiving is taking care of yourself. I just didn't want to forget that I also had goals and that I also had a life. What I did is I challenged Victor to meet me halfway. There are almost 6 million military and veteran caregivers across the nation. We have our own journey, and we can fulfill that journey at the same time that we are helping our loved one.
Visit aarp.org/caregiving for a free military veterans guide to navigate your caregiving journey and better care for your loved one and yourself. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
This is the Don't Punt Hour on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Here is your host, Pierson-El.
All right, final segment of the Don't Punt Hour. We got the former Husker himself, Pierson-El. Perfect timing as we're right around the corner from Husker football. And to wrap things up, we're going to talk about the brightest spot of Nebraska last year, which was the defense. And since we got a little bit of time left, we're just going to jump straight into the quote from Matt Rule's press conference today that the Duck was attending only partially for. But here's Matt Rule on defensive players' attitude?
From everything that I've heard and kind of felt and seen, I think they're ready to take a step. See, great defense comes from, because you want to play a lot of guys on defense. Great defense comes from the accountability and standards that these guys hold for each other. So in the spring, when I would take out the Nashes and the Ties and the Keeses and those guys, I think a lot of people think it's a break. What I'm trying to do is get them to feel what it feels like to be a coach and to watch, like you call a defense, right? And then they all play this college football game now, which is a great game, right? And, you call a blitz and there's this line going here, there's this line going here, and there's this line going here. And when you call that and the line going here doesn't go here, they would send their game back. But as a defensive coordinator, sometimes Tony calls a guy to blitz and he doesn't know to blitz. And so when those guys were coaching, they started, and they get a little edge about them. Like, hey, blitz. We have to assume positive intent and that nothing's personal, that we're just trying to get the football right. And so what I'm saying, it's a very long-winded answer. I apologize. What that's saying is this. All of a sudden now, Buford and those guys, Giff, Tommy Hill, they want to win. And last year they would say, we don't want to, we want the defense to play well. We don't want to be the reason why we lose. I want the defense to be the reason why we win. That in their mind. Like, start scoring touchdowns on defense. If you're that good, like, pick the ball off and run it back. Change games like they did against Northwestern when they blocked the field goal and ran it back. So they're starting to get on each other. They're starting to hold each other way, way more accountable. The sensitivity is kind of going away. And that's what great defenses are like. There's such a high standard. And, oh, by the way, I think the offense is catching up too. So they don't have to win it, but they can have that mentality. We're going to win it on defense.
Praising words for the defense. Thoughts on that? I mean, I'm not expecting that 09 defense, but I'm expecting something pretty positive here. Expect more growth and development.
That's good that, you're getting other guys involved to where it doesn't just have to be all on, the starters or the front group and whatnot. I mean, you're going to need depth to be successful on defense, and guys, the more guys that you get more comfortable and used to being in those roles and whatnot, the better you can be. So, I mean, they hit it kind of right on the head that, the defense is kind of pushing themselves into a different light. And saying that this early with, the departure of coaches and everything like that, that they're still on that climb and they're still on that level. I mean, the sky's the limit for what they're going to be or what they're going to do.
Do you expect this defense to have a significant uptick in turnovers? I mean, so much of it does feel like confidence and accountability.
I think so. If you go back and watch the film, guys are in the right spot. Now, they might be hesitant to pull the trigger just because it's like thinking a little bit. Year in year two, you understand it a lot more. You're more comfortable with stuff. The coaches are letting you play and letting you do things freely. So I think you'll see a lot more of the athletes become athletes and make more plays instead of just kind of sitting back and just being in the right position and not wanting to be wrong. So I think you will see the turnover margin on the defense on the up a little bit because guys won't be afraid to take a chance on a play that that they feel like that they can make and turn the ball over.
Yeah, that's what I kind of noticed too. I mean, maybe towards the beginning of the year, there were moments, not to pick on Hartsville, because he played great as the season went on. And even the coaches said Tony White got moved around a lot, put in some tough positions. But as they got more comfortable, you're absolutely right. I never saw guys completely out of place. Yeah, mm-hmm. Always in the right spot to make a play. Just a few moments where really turn some of those moments into picks. I mean, they're right there with them. Like, they're great. We'll take an incompletion. But I do think this team, especially what we just heard, Tony White being there again, I think is a huge deal. I do expect to see this defense continue to develop and even have another great year two under Matt Rule. With that being said, though, we're going to wrap things up here. We got Chance of Brewington up next, another former Husker. This is the back-to-back hours of the former Huskers. So, good morning, Pierson-El. Appreciate the time as always. We'll do it again tomorrow.
For sure.